Hi students, this next part of the video we're going to be cutting out the nose, scarf, and stick arms for our snow person. So you can grab all your different colors of construction paper. I'm going to use orange for my nose, brown for my stick arms, and a red scarf. And as you noticed, I already cut out my pieces because they dried. Okay, so for the nose, I'm going to do a triangle. I'm going to do a pretty big triangle because I can always trim it down. You can do yours with pencil. I'm using a Sharpie so you can see it. And then for the scarf, two little rectangles. And for the stick arms, I made these little ones earlier. I think I'm gonna make some a little bit wider. And remember, this is an aerial view. Well, actually, I think those might turn out to be about the same size. So we're looking down on our snow person. So it's okay if it's narrow, but it might get a little tricky to cut out. Okay, so let's cut out our pieces. Move those off screen. And it's okay if your two stick arms don't look exactly the same, because when you're making a snow person in real life, it's hard to find two sticks that are exactly the same. All right. And some sticks are shaped differently. So maybe it's just one rectangle, or maybe you have pointy parts. It's up to you, the shape, but you want it to be long. Cutting that little piece off was difficult. Let's see, where's my other piece? Oh, here it is. Oh, my stick is flying. Okay. So there's my second stick. Both different. And then for my scarf, I have two rectangles. They're not exactly the same size either. And we're looking down on the snow person, but we can see the scarf flaring out. But the one on the bottom might look a little smaller, right? And the one on the top that we see first might look bigger because of perspective. So just imagine you're in an airplane looking down at the snow person and how it would appear. Let's see. Trying to get all my marker markings. And then I want to have a fringed scarf. So I'm going to make vertical cuts at the bottom. Kind of bend it a little. Okay, there's one side of my scarf. Cut off that piece of marker, and then I'll do some more vertical cuts. Give that scarf a little texture. If you want to color it with a crayon or a marker, make polka dots, stripes, any kind of design, your swirls, you're welcome to do that. And then the nose. Okay, so those are all of the accessories and body parts. Later, I'm going to use a marker. It can be just a regular marker, not a Sharpie, to do the mouth and the eyes. And if you wanted to cut little circles out of color, construction paper to make buttons, you're welcome to. Or you can color them all with a crayon or marker later. That's fine too. Blue paint on the counter, but that will wash out. Okay, so I already cut out my pieces, but we're not gonna glue this together just yet. But I'm gonna show you how this, I already glued this, but in the next video, we'll be putting it all together. So we're gonna have the largest circle on the bottom, and then we want there to be some dimension. So we want it to pop up. So we're gonna put a stack of construction paper on there, and then we'll put our next layer on so it'll sit up a little bit higher, and then the next one. So I'll show you. I made 16 little pieces of paper, and then the next layer, the snow person, goes on, and then another stack of 16 pieces of paper, and then the top, the head of the snow person goes on. So it gives it, it makes it pop up and gives it some dimension. Just like with Yayoi Kusama, we had the foam mounting squares that we put underneath the pumpkin, so they popped up from the background that we made. This is the same idea, except we don't have mounting squares this time, so we're making them. So we're gonna be crafty. So if you have a bunch of construction paper, you can use that leftovers to make the stack of papers. So I'm gonna show you how you can do this. Okay, so let me move my paper aside. So here's my strip of paper. I'm gonna make about 1-inch strips. Maybe it's a little bit longer than 1, 2, oops, 3, 4. So I have 4 pieces of paper, and then I'm gonna cut them in half. So if I have 4 pieces of paper and I cut them in half, how many will I end up with? We're gonna get 2 pieces from each. So 4 times 2 is, what's 4 times 2? Let's see. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, we're gonna cut them in half again so we get the final number that we want. So if I have 8 pieces of paper and cut them in half, how many will I get? 8 times 2 is
8
How many are we gonna get? 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so we're gonna stack all of these on top to make our mounting rectangle. So you could glue all of these layers together, or with a glue stick or some glue, or if you have some tape, which I have handy right here, just, oh, I'm running out. I'm just gonna tape around the edge just so they stay together. So I'm gonna put it a little bit and then wrap it around to the other side. And I'm leaving some space open so I can put my glue there. So there's space on both sides. Okay, so that's one set. Then you're gonna do that another time. Then you'll have your second thick stack of papers. Okay, and then you have all your pieces ready. And then the final video, we'll put it all together.